All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode, Together Achieving Greatness. And today we're going to jump in. But before we do, like, subscribe, follow, share, do all that stuff. Help me out, promote the program, promote everything, help spread the word so I can ultimately help more people, help them become an athlete for life. For those who are already following, already subscribe, already sharing, liking, watching. Mainly, that's a big thing. Thank you. And hopefully, you're not just watching, you're not just consuming that information, but applying it, using the things that are relevant that will help you and use them in your life, whether that's training or nutrition or some habit that I mentioned. We're going to talk about a little bit of habits today, about food today. But again, thank you for doing that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following along. Hopefully I've helped, whether that's directly as a client or just indirectly from taking some information and using that. And maybe you thought, oh man, this habit was super simple. It helped me out, helped me change my life, because that's ultimately what it's about. It's about helping you change your life. It's about giving you the tools through training, nutrition, sleep, habits, that you can ultimately change your life and become the best version of yourself, no matter what your ultimate goals are. Because I think everyone is striving to live a better life. If you're not, then what are you even living for? But that's a whole other subject. But today I want to talk a little bit about, we're going to dive into like fast food and people being stuck in making these poor food choices, not for food choices, poor food choices, and getting these bad habits with their nutrition, with their eating. And everyone knows what we should be doing to live a healthier life. It's no secret at this point. It's exercise and move, find a good training program. It is eat well, eat nutrition, real whole nutrients, foods from the earth, foods from animals, and it is sleep. Get your sleep, prioritize your sleep. Everyone makes the same post over and over again: get 8 hours of sleep, eat real foods. I know I've done that in the past too. It is building healthy habits, stress management, having a positive mindset, those types of things, just believing in yourself. So we all know we have to do those things, but still, it just knowing it is not enough. It's actually doing it. It's actually taking control and controlling what you can control and doing that. And that's your choices. That's your decisions. The decisions and choices you make every day. They consistently add up over time, and are those decisions leading you to the life you want, leading you to achieve those goals that you want to achieve. And so many of you are not. You're not making the good choices. You're not making good decisions with your food, with your eating. With food and eating are the same thing. With your training, with your sleep, your activity, the people you hang around with, your environment that you surround yourself with. You just make poor decisions, and you keep using them, keep doing the same things over and over again, and not learning from your mistakes, and not listening to your body or your heart or your gut or whatever it is. And you just keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results, even though you're not making good decisions that you know you need to make, and ultimately to what other, maybe that's lose 20 pounds, maybe that's add 10 pounds of muscle, maybe that's get faster, get stronger, just live over a healthier life, have better blood markers or health markers. So you ultimately need to make these choices. And again, like I said, we all know what we have to do. If you don't know what you have to do, you've probably been living under a rock for years. And heck, if you've been living under a rock out in the middle of nowhere for years, you're probably living better than mostly people in the mainstream. They're overweight, obese, aches and pains with everything they do, can't move, can't bend, can't run, can't lift, can't bend down to tie their shoe without fear of blowing out their ACL or tearing a hamstring. All these little things. Can't climb the stairs without huffing and puffing. I run into it so often. And again, it falls back to the decisions, the choices we make. And one of the biggest things you can do with your choices, the thing you control maybe the most of these habits, of these behaviors, is your eating, is your nutrition. If you're an adult, you control. So I mean, I guess someone who's physically able to eat and feed themselves, you control what you eat, what you put into your body, what you drink. And I've started a few new clients recently, and one of them, I like to have everyone track their food for a week before we start diving in more in depth, because I want to see where you're at, because it doesn't help if you're just randomly change everything before we start. I want to see where you're at, where we want to get to, and match that up with your goals, and then we work together to come up with habits. A lot of times based off to start, and then work from there, because everyone is coming in at a different point. But I had her track for a while, or for a week, and sent it in, and then this is common with too many people these days. She has like a caribou cappuccino, mochaccino. I don't even know what this stuff is. I don't drink coffee, so I'm not up to date with all these terms and whatnot. All this stuff is on drinking these coffee drinks and specialty cappuccinos and stuff like that. I remember in college I got a job with the the dining services. So part of the time I was in the back making pizzas and sub sandwiches and stuff like that, which that stuff was easy. Then the other part of the job, I worked in a coffee or cappuccino bar or serving place, and I had no idea how to make. They didn't teach me anything. I had no clue how to make any of this stuff. So I was just putting stuff in a cup, and I don't know if it was right or not, but that's a whole nother story. But that's back when I was unhealthy and making bad decisions too, and not eating and drinking stuff that I should be. But yeah, I didn't learn. I didn't know if I was making a cappuccino, or I know what a coffee is. I used to drink coffee when I was younger, but stopped drinking that just because I don't need caffeine. But it was weird, just not knowing, not getting any training on how to make these specialty cappuccino or coffee drinks, and just, I don't know, there's little instructions, but I didn't know if they were right. So I don't know. I don't think I had anyone ever complain, but that was not to my face. So that's my story that's about my extent of knowing anything about coffee or cappuccino, is working in the dining services at UW Stout back, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, whatever it is now. But yeah, I see this with everyone. Just, I've never been to a Caribou or a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts. So I don't know that culture. I just don't like coffee. And but you go, there's one in our grocery store downtown, or you see, and now we have a Dunkin' Donuts, and now I think they're building a Starbucks here in River Falls. Just what we need, more fast food and junk garbage coffee drinks, just to make the world fatter and more obese than it is, because people just down this stuff without even thinking about it, thinking what they're putting in their body. And that's kind of what I'm getting to at the point here. Is these places are always so busy, and it's not just my client or my clients that do this. It's so many people out there. Why do you think there is a Starbucks on every town, or a Dunkin' Donuts, or a Caribou, and all these coffee spots with all these fancy drinks that are just a bunch of sugar with a tiny bit of coffee and a bunch of other junk put in it? It's so popular because it's quote unquote easy, and it tastes good, and people get addicted to it, just like alcohol, just like other sugar, other fast food. And it's not helping anything. And that's the true competition I have against. It's not other gyms, not other fitness people, because they're trying to do good, hopefully. I mean, there's a lot of bad ones out there who are promoting this kind of stuff. But I don't want to promote this stuff. I don't want, ultimately, in the end, you have the choice to drink these things, but it's ultimately your choice, and we're working on it, and we just start out. So I'm not going to force her to not just stop drinking it, and it's diving deeper into why. One of the things I asked is why she likes these things, and it's kind of digging deep to the reasons, the relationship she has with it. And it's not just her; it's anyone. It's maybe you with your food issues that maybe you've struggled with. Maybe it's a childhood trauma, or just me with my pumpkin pie story of emotional and kind of brings me back to my childhood memories with going to grandma's for Thanksgiving and how it's just that emotional tie-in. So there could be a more deeper issue than it's just choices, and those can be tough to break. With my story on alcohol, I used to drink alcohol all the time. That college days, I just quit. I just stopped. I just don't care about it anymore. I never really liked the taste of beer and stuff like that. I just did it to fit in and to be cool or whatever and get drunk. And I just grew out of that. I don't want to do that crap anymore. But some people are like that, like me. You can just quit and get rid of something, like give up sugar or these coffee drinks or whatever it is, like that. But some people, it's just more deep. They're not willing to. And it's ultimately what you're willing to do. Are you willing to do the choices, make the decisions to build the habits, the routines that are going to get you where you want to be, and ultimately figuring out where you want to be. Do you just want to be obese, overweight, stuck the same, living that life because you're not feeling good, you're not healthy right now, you're miserable, but you just aren't willing to change, you're not willing to put in the work? Is that you? Or are you willing to make the changes? And sometimes those changes are going to be slow. Everyone's going to take them at their own speed and do what they need to do to get to where you want to be. But it's ultimately, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to give up in order to live the life that you want to live? What are you willing to not do? Because you have to quit stuff. People say don't quit. No, you got to quit stuff if you want to be a healthier version, be a leaner version, be a better example, be a better role model for your family, be able to do the things with the kids and live the life you want to live. You have to quit doing stuff. You have to give up certain things. You have to make sacrifices. That doesn't mean you have to just entirely eliminate things. Again, these are ultimately your choices that you want to do, whether that is the coffee drinks, the fast food, whatever it is, the pumpkin pie like me. There's different things you can do. So you can ultimately, especially with these coffee drinks, I started researching and just kind of looking up like just the caribou ones and kind of the stuff. And it's crazy. Like just the amount of calories that you get from one of those. Like some of the stuff I looked is like 750 some calories for almost 800 calories for one like drink. 1,000 calories for a drink. And I'm looking at one right now. It's a turtle mocha. 1,000 calories, 1,070 calories for 24 ounces. 320 of those calories are from fat. And so there's 35 total grams of fat in there. That's like almost half of what I eat a day. And fat, and there's nothing wrong with fat. Fat is good. But it's the kinds of fat. It's the sugar. It's the processed sugar, the junk. There's no nutritional. The thing with these is, and why people get so addicted to this, whether it's this or pop or McDonald's or Oreos, whatever it is, these things are designed to make you crave more and stop eating because they're not full of nutrients. There's no protein content in them. There's no fiber and stuff that fills you up. It's a lot of sugar, a lot of fat, and if you're like a normal human being, you can gorge on sugar and fat. And that's why we keep coming back. And a lot of times it becomes an emotional tie-in, or maybe it's you're stressed out, so you have to drink this coffee drink, or you go home and celebrate or drown your sorrows with alcohol because it's a sign that, oh, I've worked so hard for this. And that's a bunch of crap, honestly. Just I mean, most people, it's about, you got to dig deep and figure out really what you want in this life. If it's really worth it. Are you actually helping yourself? Is this really making you feel better? Is drinking this 32-ounce Jamocha, mocha, cocoa, I don't even, cappuccino, flamingo, whatever you want to call it, really doing it? Maybe it's because you think you need more caffeine to keep you up. But that's just a Band-Aid over a bullet hole. We got to get deeper into the real issues. Maybe it's you drink this because you're not sleeping, so you get 3 hours of sleep and you need that caffeine. Well, let's dig deeper. You're not sleeping because you don't prioritize sleep. Maybe your mind's wandering. We can fix this stuff. We can work to build habits to fix your sleep if that's the issue. Or maybe it's you are always driving to fast food and you think that's so convenient, or you think these fast food Chipotle's or Subways or things like this that claim to be healthy, when they're not. They're just fast food. Yes, you can get healthier options. That could be one way of kind of getting off that, or if it's last resort when you need to eat fast food, it's making better choices when you're at the fast food restaurants. But ultimately, it's not doing you any good. There's not a lot of, most of the stuff there is still junk. I don't care what people say. There is good and bad food. Food is good for you and bad for you. Doesn't mean, like I say, you can't. I did the video on this a while ago. You can't eat those things. Like I say, everything's a choice. It's up to you to make those choices and figure out what you want and what your ultimate goals are, and do the things needed to help you reach those goals. But again, claiming these fast foods and coffees and stuff aren't healthy, and regular coffee is totally fine. If you, that's one thing. Again, there's different ways we can work on these things, and I'm working on it with my client now, and figuring out options that what she feels comfortable with at this point, and how we can move forward and kind of getting, cutting back on this stuff. You could cut back. You could switch a healthier swap, like my pumpkin pie. That's my thing. So how I stopped buying like most of the store-bought ones, because they're full of junk and garbage, and then they don't taste it, and get stomach ache, and you don't feel as good when you eat them. So I've learned to make my own recipes. So you can do that with your own, whether it's the cappuccino or a McDonald's Big Mac. You can make your own stuff. That's one of the best skills you can do for your goals and learn, is to cook, to bake. You don't have to be anything great. I'm not any great at it. I just like to do it because I can make good food that tastes better than a Chipotle bowl, that tastes better than a McDonald's hamburger, because I'm using real meat. It tastes better than their pumpkin pie, and as I'm using real ingredients, real sugar, honey, maple syrup, those types of things, real pumpkin, making my own crust. So, because you don't know where that stuff is from the store. If you know what you're putting into your meals and learning to cook, making your own coffee drinks. I don't know what's in all this stuff. I know it's mostly sugar, but you can just drink regular coffee, add a side of fruit on the side if you need something sweet. Because coffee is I think there's like 5 calories in a cup of coffee. It's just most people think they need all this caffeine, but no, you don't need the caffeine. You just need to get to the root cause. The caffeine, the sugar, that is a Band-Aid to fix what you think is wrong. But again, you're not going to put a Band-Aid if you got a bullet hole over you. That's not going to do much. That's not getting the root cause. You got to patch that sucker up and those types of things. So we dig deep, we dive deep, and find. It's about finding how to, and really, is this something you really want to do? Is it something you can do? I don't force anything on my clients. It's about finding what we can do and seeing if it's something you want to do. Because I have people that, no, I don't want to get rid of that. And that's totally fine. Like I said, we can find other ways, find healthier swaps, those types of things. And yeah, and once in a while, if that's when we come to, you can have this stuff every once in a while. But again, it's all about your choices, what you want. Do I think this stuff has a place in most people's diets? No, I don't think. But yet again, I still have made poor eating decisions on holidays and stuff like that. Whether it's ice cream or cookies or whatever it may be. No one's perfect. And then the problem is that you make these choices, but then you beat yourself up about it, rather than just getting right back on track. So if I I go somewhere and I have an Oreo or something like that, am I going to beat myself up about it? No. Am I going to go train extra hard the next day? No, I'm going to train hard no matter what. Depending on the day, depending on what my program says, I'm not going to do any extra work just to burn off a few calories or whatever that, because if you're doing that based off like the calories on just some of these drinks, 1,000 calories in one drink and one sitting, that's just one thing. It's like, what else are these people eating? Like people just live on fast food, and it's crazy. And then they wonder why they're overweight or obese. I've been there. I went to college. I used to eat 6 pack and a pounders for lunch and dinner. If you don't know what that is, that's 6 Taco John's tacos and a pound of potato olays. That I used to do that like every day. Fast food, Bada's burritos, wash it down with the hams or Miller Lite. So I know how all this stuff goes. That was 50 pounds ago, and that was 50 pounds of fat ago. So I know how it goes. I know I'm feeling like garbage, and it ultimately comes down to here and what do you really want to do, and are you willing to give up things? Are you willing to make sacrifices? Maybe it's not going out for drinks every Friday night with your buddies because you want to actually prioritize sleep and being a healthy example for your family. Or you're going to go to bed early. Again, you're sacrificing that so you can get up the next day and train with a clear mind, clear focus, that type of thing. Or it's getting rid of these cappuccino drinks, swapping it out for a coffee because you don't need 1,000 calories of sugar and fat and a ton of caffeine when you can get whatever. I think coffee's got, I don't know if it's 50 or 30 or something like that, caffeine, just to give you a little boost, because caffeine has been proven it can be a help in like fat burning. But again, when you're taking it so much of it, you're just wired all day, then you crash, and then you take some more, and then you can't sleep, and it's just an ongoing process. It's that double-edged sword that is consistency. Consistency is great when you're making good choices that are making you feel good, helping you feel better, helping you move in the right direction, the training, the nutrition, that type of thing. But consistency is also bad when you're consistently making the same choices that are over and over again, whether it's drinking the coffee or eating the whole package of Oreos or eating a whole frozen pizza every day. Those things consistently lead you down the road. That's how you wake up one morning and wonder why you can't button your pants or why you can't get up the stairs without huffing and puffing. It's that double-edged sword that is consistency. But it's about you. It's about being what you want to be and being it before you can become it. So doing the things you want to do before you can actually be. If you want to be that athlete for life, you have to do the things now that you want to do. And it's not about being perfect and, like I've said, beating up yourself over one mistake. We all make mistakes. It's about learning from those mistakes, using those failures to grow. Nick Saban says that you got to learn from those failures, use those failures, and grow from those failures. And if you don't do that, then you're just wasting failures, I believe is what he says when he's on the McAfee show. Don't waste your failures. Use those failures to grow, because we all fail. If you don't fail, you're not growing. If you don't fail, you're not living life. So it's about learning, it's about growing, it's about realizing and figuring out what you want. Maybe, and again, if you're like me, you want to live your best life, you want to be healthy, you want to set a good example for your family, for the students I teach, for my clients. Because if I'm not setting a good example, no one wants to work with a fat, out of shape trainer. That's not a good example, because you're talking about it, but you're not being it. Be it, live it, show it, and that's my philosophy as a coach. I want to be that example for my clients. I can help them and not force them to do anything they don't want to do or willing to do, but it is going to be tough, because I'm not telling them. I don't want to tell people also, oh, it's okay to be doing this and keep doing the same thing over and over again. No, that is not what I'm about. I want you to ultimately live the best life. That's why you chose to work with me if you're my client, or even if you're not. If you want to live your best life, it's about giving up a lot of this junk. And I'm not always here going to tell you what you want to hear, like, oh, it's okay. I want to tell you a lot of times is what you need to hear if you work with me. It's showing you what to do, because I can do a lot of the work for you, like give you the tools, give you the information, provide examples. Maybe it's some a list of foods to choose from, or a training program to follow when you're not even working with me, because with the online, if you're outside of me. But I can't do the actual work for you. You have to do that work, whether you're working with me or with another coach or by yourself. You're reading an article online on this diet or this training program. Whoop-de-doo, you're Reddit. Who gives a crap? It's reading is great, but if you don't actually use it and apply it, like I say, take what you learn and apply what works for your life. Because if you're not applying it, you're not actually gonna do anything. Because I've had people who I give them everything, every opportunity. I've spent my time, hours and hours, helping them, building them programs, giving them the tools they need, but they don't do it. They don't show up for their training. They don't eat right. They don't prioritize sleep. They don't make a choice to change. And it's like you're just wasting your money, my time, your time if you're not doing these things. And that's really what I want people to learn. I love helping people. I truly do. And I want them to succeed. And knowing that it is not a quick fix. It's not, just stop drinking that coffee or stop eating that ice cream. A lot of times it is deeper than that. It's that emotional fix. And it's the psychology and getting deeper. I'm not a psychologist, but it's kind of working with the people to find what drives them, what motivates them, what moves them, what makes them tick, and what makes them make these decisions. And a lot of times it's peeling back the onion layers and digging deeper into these choices. And it could, as I mentioned before, it could be a childhood trauma, it could be an emotional attachment, something like that. And that's where we work with people. It's not forcing them to do some specialty diet or just immediately get rid of everything. It's finding what they're willing to do at this point, what they're capable of doing at this point, because you all come in at a different point. You maybe you're just starting out and you have no idea where to go. You've been eating fast food and junk food for forever now, and that could be just starting out by dropping a day of eating fast food or swapping that can of pop out for a glass of water or something simple like that, and building on those smaller habits. Then ultimately 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years from now, you don't even think about that anymore. You're getting your energy from natural, real foods, real sugar, fruits, honey, maple syrup, all that good stuff. It tastes better once your taste buds get used to it. Then you try to eat that junk food and it doesn't even taste as good. Or maybe it's making your own food, making your own versions of these foods, like I mentioned with my pumpkin pie, or pizza, or ice cream. Even now, cottage cheese ice cream. If you haven't tried that, go try that. It's great. It's my because ice cream is another one of my things I love. Or kind of weaning yourself off of it, or finding a replacement. So there's many different strategies for that, but it's just crazy how popular like these coffee shops, and again, it's not just coffee shops, it's fast food in general. And to see all these places out there and see how many of them are in just like these small areas, drive over. And I know in River Falls here we don't have a ton anymore. We used to have a Burger King. What do we have now? McDonald's. I guess we have like 2 Subways. Like all these coffee shops now. But then you go over to Hudson and there's a bazillion fast food restaurants. And I haven't been to one. We have a Culver's here too. I think that was probably the last one I've been on, maybe a few years ago. We have a Dairy Queen too. But yeah, just in these small towns, there's fast food everywhere. And it's not a good, ideally, you shouldn't be eating at these places. There's not a lot of nutritional value in most of the stuff they serve. A lot of it's sugar, it's processed, it's fake meat, it's fake food, if you can even call half of what they serve food. And that's just being real. That's just the truth. I don't like to sugarcoat stuff. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna tell you what I believe, my opinions on things. If you don't like it, so what? I don't care. I don't care if you I don't need to be liked. I want to be helpful. And just knowing that most of the time you're eating real food food from earth, food from animals, and you're going to be better off than 95% of the world out there, because especially the United States, because we are so messed up in our nutrition, our diets. It's crazy to think that most people spend, I don't even know how much a Caribou coffee costs, $6-7 probably, I'm guessing, every morning on a bunch of junk that's not filling them up. It's not making them, it's just satisfying you for that 5 minutes it takes you to drink it. And there's no nutritional value, there's nothing in it. Or that Big Mac, though, that 5 minutes it takes you to eat that, but then you feel like just absolute garbage afterwards because all the junk that's in there, you're on the toilet, you're blowing your guts out on the toilet afterwards, those types of things. And you think this is what feeling good is because you've been doing it for so long, but then once you actually realize and get to feeling good, you realize how much you've been doing it wrong. I was there, I was doing that for, I don't know, from the age of 19 to 27, 28 probably, regularly, just fast food and beer and gin, what? Tequila, what? Ham, what? All that stuff. But that, I just realized that's not the life I wanted to live. I was not a good example. I was doing stupid stuff, staying out late, partying, all that junk. But ultimately, it's up to you as a human being. What do you want to do? What's the example you want to? What's the life you want to live? What's the example you want to be for your kids, your grandkids, your family, your friends? And if you get crap from that from your friends and you can't live with that, then, or your family or whatever, and that's the whole thing, that eating healthy is looked at as like a negative thing or a weird thing. If that's the case, I love being weird. But the whole stigma around eating healthy is so dumb right now because, like, I'll be in the lunchroom when I'm teaching and people are like, oh yeah, you're going to make all this wonderful, healthy food. It's like, no, I'm just making real food. This is how people are supposed to eat. We're not supposed to eat fast food and junk food all the time. That's just what we've become because big marketing, big food companies, they run the world. And they're putting out all this crap to get you to buy because they promote. And even stuff that's promoted as healthy is probably not healthy. Organic, all this other garbage out there. It's all most of it's a marketing ploy, but that's another story for another day. But again, just wanted to share that kind of information on if you're struggling with, maybe it's like drinking these coffee drinks or eating donuts and pastries and stuff like that for breakfast and just all this carb loading, or cereal, something like that, or you eat a bucket of ice cream every night or down a frozen pizza every night, or just drinking all the time, and you want to change. Know that you can change, but you really have to want it and be real with yourself and where you're at, what you're doing to change, and are you actually making the choices and decisions you want to change. And if you need help, reach out to someone like me. Reach out to a coach in your area. Find someone that can help you get you on the right track. Of course, you can do it yourself. There's nothing wrong with that. But a lot of times people just don't have the accountability. They don't have someone to hold them to the foot to the fire, or actually tell them what they need to hear, not just, oh, it's okay to binge on this all the time and stuff like that, or whatever it is. So that's what I have for you guys. Hopefully that hits home with some of you. I know there's so many people out there who, like, as I said, drink these cappuccinos and coffees and sugary mixtures, and even not even just that, but other sugary junk drinks like Gatorade and Powerade and all these other stuff that you see, Primes, all this stuff that kids are drinking these days. Be a good example. Set a good example. You don't need fast food. You don't need these things. They're not making your life any better. They're not helping you really in any way. If you truly want to be an athlete for life and live your best life, best bet is to stop doing these things, stop making these choices, start making the choices that are going to lead you to the life that you want to live and be that athlete for life. That's what I have for you today, guys. Thank you for watching, and we will talk to you again soon.